From an accountant's point of view, the very first and most practical factor to compare when deciding between a house and a flat is cost, because every financial decision ultimately comes down to how it affects cash flow, long-term stability, and overall financial health. Buying a house usually involves a significantly higher upfront price, which means a larger down payment, higher registration and transfer fees, and often more expensive legal and documentation costs, all of which can put immediate pressure on savings. In addition to the purchase price, houses typically attract higher property taxes because they are built on land, and land tends to appreciate and be taxed more heavily over time. Maintenance is another major expense that is often underestimated. With a house, the owner is fully responsible for repairs, renovations, plumbing, roofing, boundary walls, security systems, and even external issues such as drainage or structural wear, which can arise unexpectedly and disrupt monthly budgets. From an accounting perspective, these irregular but unavoidable costs make financial planning more complex, as they require setting aside contingency funds to avoid debt or cash flow stress. Flats, on the other hand, usually have a lower initial purchase price, making them more accessible, especially for first-time buyers or individuals early in their careers who may not have substantial savings. The down payment is often smaller, and financing options can be more manageable, reducing the immediate financial burden. While flats come with monthly maintenance charges or service fees, these costs are predictable and spread across all residents, which makes budgeting easier and more transparent. These charges typically cover shared services such as security, cleaning, lifts, parking areas, generators, and general building maintenance, reducing the risk of sudden, large expenses. From a cash flow management perspective, this predictability is a major advantage, as it allows individuals to plan monthly expenses with greater accuracy. Another important accounting consideration is opportunity cost. Money tied up in a high-priced house could otherwise be invested in businesses, stocks, retirement funds, or professional development, potentially generating higher returns. A flat, being less capital intensive, may allow for better diversification of investments, which is a sound financial strategy. Liquidity also matters, as flats are often easier and faster to rent out or sell due to higher demand in urban areas, providing flexibility in case of job changes or financial emergencies. For someone with tight cash flow, student loans, or early career income uncertainty, a flat often represents a lower risk financial commitment. Houses may make more sense later in life when income is stable, savings are stronger, and the owner can comfortably absorb maintenance and tax costs without compromising other financial goals. From an accountant's lens, the decision is less about emotions and more about affordability, sustainability, and risk management. Choosing a flat can help maintain a healthier balance sheet by keeping liabilities manageable and expenses predictable, while a house, though potentially more rewarding in the long term, demands stronger financial discipline and reserves. Ultimately, the smarter choice depends on where you are financially, how stable your income is, and whether your current cash flow can comfortably support not just the purchase, but the ongoing costs that come with the property for years to come. Next, from an accountant's and investor's perspective, it is essential to examine long-term value and appreciation, because property is rarely just a place to live. It is also a major asset on your balance sheet that can shape your net worth over decades. Houses generally appreciate faster and more consistently than flats, primarily because they include ownership of land, and land is a finite resource that tends to increase in value as population grows, urban areas expand, and infrastructure develops. From a financial standpoint, land scarcity creates natural upward pressure on prices, making houses more resilient to market fluctuations in the long run. Even when buildings age or require renovation, the underlying land often continues to appreciate, meaning the asset retains and often grows its core value over time. This is why, in accounting terms, the land component of a house is considered a strong appreciating asset, while the structure itself may depreciate or require capital expenditure. Flats, by contrast, usually involve shared land ownership, which limits the individual investor's exposure to land appreciation. While flats can and do increase in value, their performance is much more sensitive to external factors such as location, overall market demand, building age, construction quality, and the effectiveness of property management. A well-located flat in a prime urban area with strong security, modern amenities, and professional management can perform very well, especially in the short to medium term, but this appreciation is not guaranteed and can slow down significantly as the building ages. From an accountant's viewpoint, depreciation risk is more visible with flats because as the building grows older, maintenance costs rise, facilities may become outdated, and buyer perception can shift toward newer developments, all of which can cap future price growth. Another long-term consideration is control over the asset. House owners have greater freedom to renovate, expand, or redevelop their property, which can actively increase market value and rental potential. These capital improvements can be planned strategically, recorded as value-enhancing investments, and used to boost returns over time. Flat owners, however, are usually restricted by building rules and collective decisions, limiting their ability to independently enhance value beyond internal renovations. Market cycles also play a role in long-term appreciation. During economic downturns, properties with land value tend to recover faster because investors view land-backed assets as safer stores of wealth. Houses, therefore, often act as a hedge against inflation as both land prices and replacement construction costs rise over time, pushing overall property values higher. Flats may offer strong rental yields in high-density areas, but their capital appreciation can plateau if supply increases rapidly or if newer buildings enter the market and attract buyers away from older units. From an investment lens, this makes houses more attractive for those focused on wealth accumulation rather than short-term affordability or rental income alone. Liquidity is another aspect accountants consider when assessing long-term value. While flats may be easier to sell quickly in busy city centers, houses often attract serious end users and long-term investors, which can support higher valuations over time. Additionally, zoning changes, infrastructure projects, and commercial development tend to benefit landowners more directly, further strengthening the appreciation potential of houses. Over a long holding period, even modest annual appreciation can compound significantly, and houses are more likely to deliver this compounding effect due to their land ownership component. However, it is also important to note that higher appreciation often comes with higher holding costs, and these must be factored into net returns. From a purely analytical standpoint, when all variables are considered, land scarcity, control over the asset, inflation protection, redevelopment potential, and long-term demand, houses generally outperform flats in terms of capital appreciation over extended periods. This is why, in many investment portfolios, houses are seen as long-term wealth building assets, while flats are often viewed as more practical, income-oriented, or transitional properties. Ultimately, from an accountant's long-term investment perspective, houses tend to win over the long run because they align more closely with the principles of asset appreciation, capital growth, and sustainable value creation, provided the investor has the financial capacity to hold and maintain the property through different market cycles. Now, from an accountant's perspective, It is crucial to carefully evaluate ongoing expenses and the lifestyle impact of choosing between a house and a flat, because these factors directly affect monthly cash flow, long-term budgeting, and financial predictability, which are key elements in maintaining a healthy balance sheet. Owning a house gives you an unparalleled degree of freedom and independence, allowing you to make modifications, expand spaces, or personalize your property exactly as you wish, which can significantly enhance your quality of life and align with long-term investment goals. However, 6. This freedom comes with a significant financial and managerial responsibility. Every repair, replacement, and utility cost falls squarely on the owner. Plumbing issues, electrical maintenance, structural repairs, landscaping, roof repairs, and even security measures must all be arranged, managed, and paid for individually, and these costs can fluctuate widely, creating potential strain on monthly cash flow or emergency funds if not anticipated. Utilities for a house, such as water, electricity, gas, and waste management, may also be higher than in a flat because of larger space, outdoor areas, and independent systems, adding to recurring expenses. From an accounting standpoint, this makes financial forecasting more complex and requires careful allocation of funds to ensure that maintenance needs do not derail other financial priorities. Flats, by contrast, offer a more predictable and streamlined financial model, largely due to the shared nature of responsibilities and costs. Service charges or maintenance fees are typically fixed or calculated based on a fare system, and these fees cover shared facilities such as elevators, security, common lighting, generator backup, parking, and general upkeep of communal areas, effectively reducing unexpected out-of-pocket expenses for individual owners. This predictability allows for smoother monthly budgeting and more reliable cash flow management, which can be especially advantageous for professionals early in their careers or those with less flexible income streams. Additionally, flats provide convenience in lifestyle terms. Residents benefit from professionally managed amenities, security personnel, and community governance that collectively reduce personal time and effort spent on maintenance, freeing up energy and resources for work, leisure, or family commitments. However, this convenience is accompanied by certain limitations. Flats often come with rules and regulations regarding renovations, noise, pet ownership, or usage of shared facilities, which can restrict the sense of independence some people value in a house. From a financial advisor or accountant's perspective, the choice between a house and a flat in terms of ongoing expenses is essentially a trade-off between independence and predictability. A house allows you to fully control your property and lifestyle, but demands meticulous planning for variable costs, emergency maintenance funds, and long-term upkeep budgeting. A flat, while offering less personal freedom in property management, provides a stable, predictable expense structure that can simplify financial planning, improve cash flow management, and reduce exposure to sudden financial shocks. Furthermore, an accountant would also point out the opportunity cost of time. Managing a house's ongoing requirements can be time-intensive, potentially taking attention away from career growth, investment strategies, or other income-generating activities, whereas living in a flat often reduces these demands and allows for a more efficient allocation of personal resources. In summary, when weighing ongoing expenses and lifestyle impact, the decision ultimately hinges on individual priorities. If you value autonomy, flexibility, and the potential for long-term asset enhancement, a house may suit you despite the variable costs and responsibilities. If you prioritize financial predictability, convenience, and a more hands-off approach to maintenance, a flat provides a practical solution with manageable expenses. From an accountant's standpoint, analyzing personal cash flow, risk tolerance, and long Term financial planning is essential before committing to either option, as both have distinct implications for your financial stability, lifestyle, and ability to maintain a healthy balance between expenditure and wealth accumulation over time. Finally, from an accountant's perspective, the ultimate choice between buying a house or a flat hinges squarely on your financial goals, because property ownership is not just about immediate comfort or lifestyle. It is a long-term financial decision that directly influences wealth creation, risk management, and the ability to maintain a balanced budget over time. If your primary objective is stability, predictability, and lower financial risk, a flat often makes the most sense, as it allows for easier budgeting and smoother cash flow management. With flats, the recurring costs such as maintenance fees and utilities are relatively predictable, shared among residents, and typically well regulated by building management, which reduces the likelihood of unexpected large expenses that can disrupt your monthly or yearly budget. This predictability is a crucial advantage for individuals early in their careers, those with variable income streams, or anyone who prefers financial certainty and wants to avoid the stress of unplanned costs. Flats also offer convenience and a more hands-off lifestyle, shared security, professional maintenance of common areas, and managed facilities such as lifts, generators, and parking mean that residents spend less time and money dealing with property upkeep, freeing up both resources and attention for work, investments, or personal priorities. From an accountant's lens, this makes flats a financially prudent choice for those who prioritize consistent expense management and want to protect their short to medium-term cash flow while still investing in real estate. On the other hand, if your long-term goal is wealth creation, building equity, or generating future rental income, a house often emerges as the smarter option. Houses typically come with land ownership, which is a highly appreciating asset, and this can lead to substantial capital growth over time, especially in areas with limited land availability or strong development potential. Owning a house also provides greater flexibility to renovate, expand, or customize the property, which can further increase market value and rental appeal. From an investment perspective, this ability to actively enhance the property, coupled with potential tax benefits and long-term appreciation, can make houses powerful tools for wealth accumulation and portfolio diversification. Rental income potential is often higher with houses, as they attract long-term tenants seeking independent living spaces, allowing owners to generate steady cash flow that can supplement personal income or fund future investments. However, this opportunity comes with higher financial responsibility. Houses require careful planning for maintenance, insurance, property taxes, and utility costs, all of which can fluctuate and need to be accounted for in long-term financial models. The decision, therefore, should not be driven by emotion, aesthetics, or short-term desires, but by a thorough assessment of one's income, expenditure patterns, and strategic financial plan. And an accountant would emphasize evaluating your current and projected earnings, existing liabilities, emergency funds, and investment goals to determine which option aligns with your financial profile. For some, a flat's predictability and convenience perfectly complement a stable but moderate income, offering a manageable path to property ownership without jeopardizing other financial objectives. For others, the potential for wealth creation, long-term appreciation, and rental income offered by a house justifies the higher upfront cost and ongoing responsibilities, especially if they have a stable income, sufficient savings, and a willingness to invest in maintenance and improvement. Ultimately, the best decision is analytical, not emotional. It is the one that harmonizes with your current financial position, risk tolerance, lifestyle preferences, and long-term wealth building strategy. By approaching the choice through a careful accounting lens, weighing both immediate affordability and future potential, you can select the property type, flat or house, that not only meets your living needs, but also strengthens your financial stability, maximizes long-term returns, and supports the achievement of your broader financial goals over the years.